and welcome. This is Kevin, also known as AWOL, and today this is a fun little pattern. I have forgotten what the pattern number is, but I will show it on the screen because somehow I wasn't prepared for that today. Oh well. So this is essentially an arrowhead, but it's not like the arrowheads that I typically do, and so it made it more of a challenge for me, and I kind of liked it. Once I kind of got the idea that it's 3 down and then 1 over and then 3 down, yeah, no trouble with trying to kind of keep on where I was going. I did have to kind of follow along to make sure that I didn't pass the center point because I did mirror it from the center downwards. But overall, that was pretty easy. I kind of could see where it was coming, way in advance. That was awesome. There is a lot of what I call the zigzag knots, the knots that go like to the right and then left, or to the left and then right. There's a lot of those. Whenever possible, I just let it go straight, because there's times where like the light color hits the light color. Oh, and I mentioned, like, when I was doing the pattern, right, that I wasn't probably going to go with the colors. So the pattern colors were like red, blue, yellow. Red, blue, and yellow. Like the 3 primary colors. My brain just stopped there for a second. So yeah, instead I went with 3 purples, light, medium, and dark. And yeah, I definitely like that a lot. It didn't take too much longer. It was about an hour and 10 minutes, hour and 12, something like that. So it wasn't like it threw me too far off track. Obviously, some of the easier ones I can kick out a bit faster. Just a lot of zigzags, and it makes it difficult to really do much in the way of segmenting, and a lot of stopping to make sure, like, wait, is this really where I'm at? Because the 3 colors repeat themselves, there's a lot of trying to make sure I'm where I thought I was on the pattern. So you might see like some pauses there where I'm like, hang on, is that right? But yeah, I think there was maybe a couple of mistakes, but not too much in that area there. Just got a little bit careless. I was watching Doctor Who, actually, and yeah, that's a bit of a distraction if you hadn't guessed. What else can I tell you about this? It's really fun that it's like the arrowhead but squished down to its smallest it can possibly be. So the amount of times it changes in one bracelet is greater than the other one, right? So normally, if I'm just doing one, right, I'm looking at the bracelet. Normally, to get from where it's the dart and it goes down through the things, it would take most of the bracelet. But because this is so condensed, it can do it a couple times over. And so in some aspects, this is fun. I would not personally recommend this one as to doing something big like a bag or something. However, I do know that there are some artists out there who excel at this, and for them, they would be like, Kevin, you're crazy. Of course I would love to do this. And to them, I say, go for it. It will look gorgeous. I have no doubt in my mind that this could be really fun in a bigger sense. Me personally, I don't enjoy this kind of so many zigzags, so tight of a whatever. And that's why I personally couldn't recommend it unless I knew that you were like one of those people who absolutely just love this pattern. But yeah, it is really cool. It would do the same thing. A while back, I did a video about how you can join the things together where it was like arrowheads and great big ones and stuff. This would do that, and you could have a lot of fun with expanding upon this and making it kind of wild, make it a little bit crazy. This would definitely do that as well. So that maybe that's what you guys want to try. I don't know. I like it though. I think it's a fun pattern. I think it could be a pretty nice bracelet. Like if you did this, so my strings are doubled up, right? For the thickness, gives a nice big. If you did this single stranded, it would be so dainty. There would be so much going on in such a small space. It would be really cute that way as well. I just have a preference for doing the bigger knot personally. I've just done it for so many years now. I don't even want to calculate that. That's just going to make me feel old. But yeah, it would look really cute. It's a very dainty bracelet, little tiny thing. And so, this is a double of the original pattern, right? So the original pattern just was the arrowhead going one direction. This has it kind of going in both directions. So this is a lot like the elongated arrowhead that I made a while back because my Newt Craft had asked for that one. So this is along the same kind of lines, except for it's like the more condensed down version. Instead of having like the 3 and then 3 bag where you have like a single dot in the center, this one just 3 1 3 1 3 1. The other one is what? 5 3. Well, okay, so if this is, I guess this would be 3 2. There's 2 knots going that way. So the other one would be 5 3. So, yeah, that's how I figure out my zigzags. You could do different ones, obviously, different combinations, but yeah. I think we're around the middle, getting there. So let me thank my Patreon supporters and my YouTube members for making this possible. The fact that I even have a bunch of purple string right now is all attributed to them. Back when I did the purchase of floss to be able to make the couple bags that I've been doing on the live streams, I decided that it would be a good time to pick up a bunch of purple because it seems to be a color that I go to a lot and everybody seems to like it. So yeah, that's I owe it all to them for making it possible. So thank you very much, guys. If you want to join, there's links down in the description. Any little bit helps. I know that there's a lot of people who can't, and that's okay. Just watching the videos to the end helps. Hitting like or leaving comments also helps. So yeah, no pressures. But if you can't afford it, I totally understand. Just try one of the 3 things. That's all I ask. That would be awesome. Yeah, flipping the pattern the other way at first seemed like but then I realized it's not that big of a deal. It's still the same mathematical 3 1 3 1 3 1. Well, 3 2. And yeah, I got through that with very little to no trouble. Like I said, I think there was only one mistake, and that was me not paying attention. Not paying attention. Okay. Sorry, the pun hit me. What else can I tell you? I think because of all of the zigzag knots in it, it actually has a slightly different texture, which is sort of driving me crazy in my hand. I'm not. Mind you, I haven't washed. So there's a thing. When you first do a bracelet, you can hold it out straight like this. If you wash it or just merely get it wet and then let it dry, it'll soften. All of the fibers will tighten up really tight once it gets wet. And then it dries. When it loosens, it just makes everything way more flopsy. So I'm not even sure that's a word. But I'm going to go with it because it's early and I like it. Still drinking coffee. Yeah, this would look really nice in anything as long as the 3 colors provide contrast to each other. You kind of need 3 different distinctive ones in order to pull this thing off. So it's a dark, medium, light, whatever it is, what reds, greens, whatever. Or do the primary colors, do the red, blue, yellow thing. You know, that would be interesting. I think if you got the right shades of those 3, it could be a lot of fun. If you went with like the elementary school version of primary colors, I think it would be okay. It would be nice. But I think that would kind of automatically make whoever receives it feel like it was meant for a child. So if you like exaggerated those 3, it could be a lot of fun. You know, like go with an outrageous red and like a super dark blue or something like that. You could maybe come up with something that takes those and turns it around, turns it into something else. I don't know, it's a thought. Although I have to admit, I do kind of like the idea of doing this in a red. Like do a deep, rich burgundy red for the darkest one. And like the lightest one is just a hint of pink to almost white. And then the middle one could be the color of my headphone. I can see them out the corner of my eye over here. Something like that, like just a medium, not overly bright, just a dim, regular, plain old red. That'd be fun. Actually, I probably have that color around my room all over the place. Like red is obviously probably one of my favorite colors. But I don't go crazy with it. I don't, like, Mandy has a tendency of buying things in red for me. Like if I'm looking for something, she's like, oh, that's got a red one. So yeah, I have a red case for my phone. I have the red headphones. It's a nice, easy way to tell mine from hers because she goes for orange. So a little insight into my life there. I'm sorry, I'm way off track on where my thoughts are today. There's a little fuzz flaw in that one strand. And yes, it was driving me a little bit crazy while I was making with it, but it got knocked into the whole project and it's fine. That's like the most flaw I've had in this floss that I buy in a long time. The only other thing that occasionally happens is one of the colors will be just a little bit thinner than the rest, which I think most people would never pick up on the difference. It's like the difference between the Chinese floss and DMC, right? Like this DMC is smaller, so if you make it all in DMC, your bracelet will be a little bit thinner. It's like that kind of a difference. And it's only when you're like mixing it with other stuff that it really becomes super apparent. But yeah, that's about the only flaws that I typically ever see in the floss that I buy. So if you're interested, go check them out on AliExpress. It's called the Factory Store, which is kind of weird, but that's what their title is. They do 447 different colors to choose from. So yeah, I bought one of each, made a box of it, well, 2 boxes, and that way I went, oh, there was that error. That way I can go through and pick out colors for future projects. So another little helpful insider tip there for you. I think we're getting really close to the end. Like, close-ish. But yeah, nice floss, a lot of fun. And I like the fact that this thing mirrored. I don't, like, that just seems really, really cool. And when you wear it, it's just gonna be, it's just awesome. I don't know what to tell you. I like it though, I like it a lot. Oh, it used all the strings really even. I was wondering with all the zigzags and me going straight when it could, if that was going to change it up in a way that made one strand necessarily get used more than others. But without making any effort towards it, all the strings came out perfectly fine. So there you go. It's I could have probably, instead of cutting it in thirds, I probably could have done it in quarters or something. So here comes the end, big reveal. Thanks for hanging out with me, and as always, don't get your strings in a bunch.